What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Rage Bros Inc. I noticed something that kind of was bothering me. I made my Death Knight back, and it's like, you know what? I want to twink this guy. So, unfortunately, there was no up-to-date Death Knight twink guides for level 59, and it's kind of upsetting because, you know, one of the first things you want to do as a Death Knight is go try it out in PvP once you get into the open world. Like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go check out some sites and see, you know, some guides and go figure things out. But all of them are from like 2009 and 2010, 11. It's just like, it's not really helpful because all of that information is outdated and, you know, doesn't really do anything for anybody. So basically what I wanted to do real quick is just show you my guide to the Death Knight. I guess I could say that. But basically we start out with your stats, your talents, glyphs, and things like that. Notice I don't have any glyphs set up yet, but we will go into that in a minute. Now, as far as talents goes, at level 59, I mean, you're not going to be doing so much you're not going to be doing so much craziness with all these talents and things like that. So, but what I went with was Unholy Blight, which is basically surrounds the Death Knight with a vile swarm of unholy insects for 10 seconds. Stringing all enemies within 10 yards every 1 second, infecting them with blood, plague, and frost fever. Now, I think that's pretty good, especially when you're in Alturic Valley as a Death Knight. You know, you go in there, you just drop down Unholy Blight and make a run for it and watch people fall to the ground. So I think that's pretty good. Purgatory, and kind of just your oh crap type of thing. Kind of your warning of you're getting low, pretty much, because basically it says an Unholy Pact grants you the ability to fight on through damage that would kill mere mortals. Basically just it's like that one pally ability, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, gives you that little extra time to kill somebody else if you need it. So I think that's pretty useful. I mean, you can go with Anti-Magic Zone or Lichborn, both pretty viable. I mean, honestly, any of these are pretty viable in PvP, but I just went with Purgatory just because I like that whole idea of just having that extra security there. Now, for the 58 talent, I went with Chillblains. Victims of your Frost Fever disease are chilled, reducing movement speed by 50% for 10 seconds, and a Chain of Ice immobilizes targets for 3 seconds. That's pretty freaking good because as a melee class, you're doing a lot of running. You don't get to just sit there and cast a spell. So, catching your target, slowing them down, just completely stopping them in their tracks is a good thing. Again, it's one of those things that you could go with these other ones here, Asphyxiate or Death's Advance, but I think Chillblains is a passive, one less thing you have to worry about, and it's very helpful in PvP. I think it's definitely a choice. But that's all you can do for the talents right now. Obviously, I've gone with Frost. You could go Unholy Blood, it doesn't really matter, whatever you want to do, but Frost, I went with that because I think it's most viable for PvP at this level. But, you know, that's up to argument. You can do whatever you want. Unholy looks pretty cool, too. So, as far as glyphs go, I mean, glyphs, you know, obviously, since the new expansions and stuff, glyphs are not as important. But there are a few in here that are key that you might want to take a look at. But basically, what you'll want to do is just read through all of them and see which one you enjoy most. Because, honestly, there's no cookie-cutter glyphs. I mean, Pillar of Frost, that's pretty good. So, I mean, I would go with Pillar of Frost. I'll probably actually pick that up anyways. But other than that, I mean, it's just up to you. Obviously, your minor glyphs are just cosmetic stuff, so you can do that on your own. But we'll close that out. And now we go to the Enchants, one thing that has definitely needed to be updated from all these old videos that we just see now. But the glyphs, this is my setup. There's always room to change, but I think these are the best, at least on my server, the ones that I could find. And let me remind everybody that if you're going to be twinking a character, usually you're going to want to have a lot of money because you shouldn't be twinking a character to PvP unless you can afford it, because it's going to make a huge difference when you can actually spend some serious money on it. But this wasn't actually too expensive. I went into the auction house, I got the best gear I possibly could find. I won't go through the gear because it's going to be different on servers. You know, it's going to be different on what you can find. Just find anything that's better than what you have on right now, honestly. Obviously looking for something that's more higher item level and more up than the actual level and with better stats. So when you see something like that in the auction house, definitely pick it up. And usually twink things at these levels are pretty expensive, but for Death Knight plate wearing class, not too bad actually. So I think I only spent 2k altogether on all this gear, so that's definitely not bad as compared to level 14, which is ridiculous. But anyways, so we get to the Enchants. You can't do anything about the helmet or the neck, But when you get to the shoulders, I have it down here, the Greater Tiger Fang inscription. You're going to need one of your level 90s to put that on there, so you can send the BOA item to your level 90 and the enchant, put the enchant on the BOA item and send it back to your alt, to your level 59 Death Knight, and put them on. And it works. The stats get dropped down a little bit, but it scales with your level. So right now it gives me 8 strength and 4 crit, which is amazing. So those are good for, and again, that is the Greater Tiger Fang inscription. Now for the back piece for your cloak, I went with, I don't have these organized very well, but the enchant cloak, I went with Greater Protection. Basically use permanently enchant a cloak to increase stamina by 8. Gives you that extra health. Most of the time your enchants are going to want to be strength and things like an attack power, but for that one I went with stamina because the other ones weren't as good. So, and that is the enchant cloak Greater Protection. Now for the chest, see, you could do one of two things. One, send the chest over. All your BOA items you can send over to your 90, get the highest enchants possible, put them on there, and then send it back to your alt. And it works. I know a lot of people are like, I don't know how to do this. Well, here you go. It's the information right here. So check that out. But for just 59 Death Knight, whatever, the enchant chest, I did superior stamina, increase your stamina by 11. For the bracers, if I can find it, in the bracers I went with Brawn. Basically, permanently enchant bracers to increase strength by 9. That more strength and more attack power, just more damage, obviously. Now for the gloves, I went with Crusher and permanently enchant gloves to increase attack power by 16, which is fantastic. Gloves, I went with Assault, increased attack power by 20. And then boots, I went with Greater Assault, which increased attack power by 12. So I'm going to put all those on after I'm done with this video, and I'm going to get straight into some PvP and go own people. The BOA trinkets, as far as the PvE ones, like these ones, I wouldn't recommend these. I would go with the PvP ones. They're a little bit better once you get up to this level. And then your rings and things like that, see what you can do about those. But I put these rings on because I thought they were the best that I could find. You know, if you're using PvP gear, you know, more power to you. You're going to be doing amazing, but if you have PvE gear, you're going to be doing just as good. At these lower levels, that resilience is not as special. Once you get into the 70s and 80s, then it's, I mean, you should probably have a little bit of resilience. And then on from there, just get the high eye level stuff, or the low eye level, high stats stuff, which is pretty expensive on this server. But anyways, hopefully this guide helps you guys out. Like I said, it was really bothering me that there was no up-to-date guides, and so if you're trying to get your Death Knight twinked out and you want to go own in Autorg Valor or something like that, then definitely try this guide out. You know, try new things out for yourself too. If you don't think something's working, try something else out, and then post a comment down at the bottom and let me know, and then I'm gonna try it and see how it works. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming by, and I hope this helps you out, and we will see you next time.